So this is a place called Veteran. It's a service station, only glamour on this channel. Left Brussels probably about half an hour ago. Traffic was fine coming out because I kind of left mid-afternoon. I'm going to Ypres. Ypres is kind of behind the camera. I put some petrol in the bike. You see the bike there? Put some petrol in the bike. Took me 5 minutes to work out how to use the petrol pump. You have to pay by card, and the card reader is on a separate pedestal next to the pump. Massive thunderstorm-like clouds over there, and that looks pretty shit too, doesn't it? So that's where I'm going, the sunny bit, and hopefully I'm gonna miss those two ominous clouds as we go towards Ypres. See you soon, bye. So I stayed at the Hotel Ambrosia, which is kind of central within Ypres. Ypres is not a very big place. This is a nice family-run hotel. The guy there was super nice, like gave me some ideas about what to do, where to go, what to see. His chap's name was Vincent. Not expensive, like a nice little family-run hotel. Really liked it there. Ypres, it's like a movie set, because during World War One it was completely flattened. Like if you see photos of it, completely flattened. So all this, although it looks fairly old, it's not that old. It was all rebuilt in the 20s, 30s, 40s and 50s. And out to the east of the town, because it's not really a city, is the Menin Gate. There's two gates as you go in, and the Menin Gate is where they do this last stand ceremony that I think they've been doing since the 20s, the mid-20s, and they do it every day. Didn't do it during the war, World War II. And if you go now, the Menin Gate is being restored. So it's about 100 years old, and it's got names of all those killed from the Allied forces. Is that the way that you would describe it?
The Association welcomes you on this daily act of remembrance. May we kindly ask you to remain silent and not to applaud during or after the ceremony.
So the actual ceremony lasts about 3 minutes. They'll start in a second. They just do like a pre-call, and this guy in the middle here is obviously an ex-sergeant, and he was he was very active in managing the crowd. Like there was a really noisy set of school kids, and he was right in there kind of telling everybody to shut up. So at this point I was going to give you 2 or 3 minutes of just listening to the last stand. So I loaded it up to YouTube. YouTube came up with a copyright violation. So who would have thought that the last stand is still under copyright protection. So anyway, during this time they play the full extended last stand, and it takes 2 or 3 minutes to do. It's you could effectively listen to a pin drop while they're doing this. Very moving. It would be interesting to see it done in winter, I would have thought as well. I mean, it's all very nice when it's bright and sunny like this. This was middle of June, but I think it'd be nice to see it done in different times as well. And my guess is that at particular times in the year there's different things happen, and I would have thought obviously in November it's a much bigger production, and it does seem like a production. This chap here in the middle was working with another local Belgian guy, and they were doing all of the logistics. You come here, you do this at this time, that kind of thing. It was good, professionally managed. So I've spoken to other buddies. My mate Brian Kinsella, who I know will be watching this, who's recovering from an op. He's been before. When he saw it, he said they didn't have these bands when he was there. And these were Australian. The two outfits in the kilts were Australian cadet forces, and a lot of the crowd was Australian too. Don't really understand this. Obviously there was Australian soldiers in World War One. They saw a lot of service, and they had a lot of casualties, as did the New Zealanders too, as did everybody. But anyway, these little bands were doing their piece. The cadet outfit on the right hand side in the camo, they were Brits. If you look at the bottom of the gate on either side, there's 2 lions, and the originals of those were gifted by the mayor of Ypres to the Australians, and I think now they sit in a museum in Australia somewhere. So my great uncle Joeseph Booth on my mum's side was born in a place called Knutsford in Cheshire, and he joined the army. Big family, Irish Catholic family. His mum and dad were both Irish, and he ended up being killed in the early stages of World War One in a place called Wieltje, which is about 3 miles outside Ypres, and so I thought I'd go and find it. It's a tiny place, just fields, maybe 30-40 houses, nothing really there. There's a Northumberland regiment cemetery and commemoration. It was good to go and see it, you know. So born in Knutsford, and at the end of this I go back to Knutsford, so do keep on tuning in if you're up from that. But no strategic value, you know, there's nothing there, there's no bridges or anything. And as you go round Ypres, there are cemeteries from everybody that fought in there, you know, so every regiment, every country. This is the French one. I think in the UK we always think that World War One and to a certain extent World War Two was the Brits versus the Germans, but of course it wasn't like that at all. If anything, it was the Germans versus the French. We got involved because of Belgian neutrality and the Germans and the Schlieffen Plan and all that kind of thing. Hill 60 is a spoil heap from the railway line that runs through it. And because the rest of the battlefield is flat, any elevation was really useful. So this was fought over 3 times at incredible fighting scenes. If you see the pictures of it, it just looks like a surface of the moon. Changed sides 3 times. The Brits and the Canadians dug under the German positions, filled the gallery full of explosives. They actually did it in 2 locations, and then in a synchronized explosion blew these explosives, creating massive craters. So this is 200 foot wide, 40 foot deep. You can just imagine the devastation. Impressive in a very melancholy kind of way. And from there to Tyne Cott, which is the biggest Commonwealth war grave. I think it's got over 50,000 people within there. It's about 8-9 miles outside Ypres. You get drawn into walking past these gravestones, and kind of each one tells a little story, and they all tend to be youngsters. Very few are over 30s. They're all kids, you know, they're all young men in their 20s and 30s, and a number of them will say a soldier of the Great War, where it's just a body and they don't know whose it is. You know, a little bit like my Uncle Joseph's. Immaculately kept, and there's an army of folks from the Commonwealth war graves that keep it clean. After this visit, I went up to Knutsford and went to see the military commemoration stone there. It's just outside the library in Knutsford, and it was good to see Joeseph Booth's name on there. So you are remembered, sir, as is everybody else that gave their lives during the wars and for the military. Do take a look, it's interesting. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon. Bye.